So our objective today, or my goal today, is to get through the rest of the systems, which basically are the urinary system, the immune system, the endocrine system, and the reproductive system. So looking at the urinary or excretory system, and the reason we put those two together is basically both of them are a way to get rid of waste. The function of the urinary and excretory system is to control water balance and excrete or let out any waste material that you have in your body. Now, the excretory system basically is any system, any organ that gets rid of waste, things that your body does not need. So, for example, carbon dioxide is a waste. How do we get it out of our system? We breathe it out. So, when we think of the excretory system, technically we could say that the lungs are part of the excretory system because of the fact that we get rid of waste, which is carbon dioxide. Now, we can also say that the digestive system works with the excretory system due to the fact that the colon and the anus secrete or excrete feces. So, any way that we get rid of waste is considered the excretory system. Okay? Now, we are specifically going to talk about the urinary system, which is a system that controls the water balance in our body. The main organs of the urinary system are the kidney and the urinary bladder, or the kidneys and urinary bladder. So, looking at the specific organs, we see that the kidneys are there to filter blood and make urine. So when we look at the kidneys, we see that that's what makes the urine, so that's what controls how much water we have in our system. But it also filters our blood, it cleans our blood. So that's a very important function due to the fact that if that does not occur, our blood basically does not get cleaned out, meaning the blood is going to end up with things in it that it doesn't need. So when you have something such as kidney failure, where the kidney's not working, basically what's happening is the kidney is not filtering your blood, which means you're getting an excess amount of things in your blood that you do not need. And that basically creates problems in your body. Now, in order to fix that, or help with that, because it is dangerous, your blood levels become toxic. Things in your blood become toxic. What ends up happening is you have things such as dialysis. Okay. Does anybody know what dialysis is or what happens during dialysis? Yes, Jose.
You have to go like once a week to clear your blood.
To clean your blood. Basically, what ends up happening is you go in, you get a syringe put into one vein that sucks out your blood, and then another one put into another vein that puts it back in. So your blood is taken out, it goes through a machine, the machine cleans it, and then it gets put back into your body because your kidney isn't doing what it's supposed to. Now, obviously, you can only do that so much because as many times as you put things in your veins are going to start kind of shrinking and kind of backing away because they don't want things being stuck in them. So you end up having to basically try and go and get a kidney transplant. Without it, you really can't survive for a very, very long time just going through dialysis. So kidney is a very important organ within your system. Yes, Jesus.
Do you put it into right here because the veins big enough to...
I think, yeah, for the most part it's in
the vein
arms.
is pretty big.
Yeah, it's in arms. Yes.
Is it like true that if you don't go to the dialysis, you can kind of get over it?
I'm not really sure.
I haven't, I've done it the last 4.
I fortunately have never had a family member, anybody that's had to go through that, so I'm not really sure. Yes.
What if they do like just take it out but they don't put a thing? Just stick it up to your intestine or 'Cause like they have to
Well,
blood.
no, if they take a certain amount out, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, people in dialysis are doing this once a week. That needle's going in once a week,
Oh, okay.
compared to once a year or twice a year, whatever, how many times you get blood tested. I donate blood every 2-3 months. So they stick that needle in there, and yeah, it's getting a little harder, but, I mean, I have the other arm. But people that have dialysis have marks all down their arms, and both of them because they have to do both. Okay? Alright, the ureter is just a pathway for the urine, so basically how urine goes from the kidney to urinary bladder, and the urinary bladder just basically holds that urine until you're able to go to the bathroom and allow it to excrete. And as I said, the colon and the anus is part of the respiratory system just because that's how you excrete feces. I didn't draw it on here because it's on the digestive system, so you can see that diagram. So any questions over the urinary system? Alright, so you and your partner come up with 1 or 2 key words for the system and the major organs. So remember that for each one, you should have the essential question at the top. Why is the lymphatic immune system important to the body, and what could happen if the system fails? That should be at the top. So when we look at the system, we're actually looking at 2 systems, but they kind of overshadow each other because they're basically doing the same thing. It's just specifics that are a little different. So if you ever looking this up, some books and some things will have both of these as one thing. Some things will have them as separate things. Okay, but they're really doing almost the same exact thing. So if you look at the lymphatic immune system, basically what it does, it protects you from disease. This is what is in your body to kill off anything that gets in that is harmful to your body. Okay? It is there to protect you from diseases. Now, thinking of the lymphatic immune system, basically you have the thymus gland, which I drew the heart just so you can see where the thymus gland is, which is right above it. The lymph vessels, which are just all these greens that are just going all over the place. The spleen and the lymph nodes. So those basically are the major organs. Technically, the major organs really are these lymph nodes, the spleen, and the thymus gland. Those vessels are just going everywhere in your body. That takes the lymph to those areas. So looking at the organs and specifically what they do, the lymph nodes basically make your white blood cells. So your WBCs from now on. That's what we're going to talk about. The white blood cells are basically the type of cell that is in your blood that kills any foreign materials that it's in your blood. So in your blood you have red blood cells, which give you oxygen. Okay? You have white blood cells, and they're different. There are different types that kill off any materials in your blood that do not need to be there. And then they also filter harmful materials from the blood. So your kidneys filter, your lymph nodes also filter. Your lymph vessels are just the pathway for those white blood cells and the filter material. So that's what basically takes those white blood cells to the blood and those filter materials from the blood. So this is working with the circulatory system because the circulatory system is moving all these things around. Your thymus gland help your white blood cells mature. So basically they grow up in the thymus gland. And then your spleen destroys foreign materials and red blood cells. So your lymph nodes make the white blood cells, and then they move through the lymph vessels to your thymus gland to finish up growing up, finish maturing. It goes into your blood. It starts protecting you from diseases. They basically kill off any bacteria and so on. And then the spleen destroys any foreign materials and any old red blood cells that you need to get rid of. Because truthfully, you have new blood almost every 3 months. because as much as those red blood cells are moving around through your body and moving through those little capillaries, they get damaged over time, and your body's always making new ones. That's why people that go donate blood can donate every 2 to 3 months, because they have the new blood. Okay. Now, the immune system is there to protect. Obviously, if this goes down, you start getting more and more diseases. Okay? When you have diseases that attack this system, okay, basically, it's a disease that is going to allow you to get sick from other things. Let me give you an example. For example, HIV is the virus that causes AIDS, right? Okay. HIV is a virus that comes in and causes what we call an autoimmune disease, which basically means that it comes in and it starts attacking this system and doesn't allow the system to work. So if it doesn't allow the system to work, you're more easily sick because of diseases that can come in very easily. People that have HIV basically means they have the virus in their system, but the virus really hasn't attacked the system yet. Once that virus really attacks the system, they are considered to have AIDS, which is acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which basically means their system is no longer working. People with AIDS don't die from AIDS. They die from diseases that they get because they have AIDS. So a person that ends up with AIDS, meaning the HIV virus has attacked the system, what ends up happening is if they get a cold, that cold can kill them when that same cold would not kill somebody else that has a working immune system. Okay? That's one. Another one. Lupus. Lupus is a different immune system disease. And what happens is that disease actually makes this system start attacking your own body. Okay? So when you get lupus, your white blood cells basically, instead of just killing off bacteria, they start killing off healthy cells. So things can happen to the system where this system attacks you because of something that is causing it, or the system just stops working where you end up getting diseases that you shouldn't get. Okay? So any questions over the immune system? Yes?
So how is it that it could stop the immune system from working?
The white blood cells aren't working anymore. It reduces the amount of white blood cells in your system. Like HIV, basically that's what it does. It reduces the amount of white blood cells. So if it reduces the amount of white blood cells, which are your warriors to kill bacteria, then there's nothing there to kill them.
So the white blood cells would keep it from the harmful cells staying there. So and then whenever, instead of moving it out, it would keep it in there.
Well, for which one? Lupus or for the other one? For HIV, basically what HIV does, it reduces the amount of white blood cells.
So it reduces the amount
Of basically
harmful
cells in your body that are there to kill bacteria. For lupus, what it does, it makes white blood cells attack your own body. Alright, any other questions over the lymphatic immune system? Okay, so go through, write your 2 key words. Remember, you're talking to your partner. Write 1 or 2 key words for this system, and then your... Alright, so same essential question, why is the endocrine system important to the body and what can happen if the system fails? So looking at the endocrine system, the function of it, bless you, is that it controls the internal environment of the body by releasing, when I mean releasing, giving off, hormones, which basically helps the body maintain what we call homeostasis. Homeostasis is a state or an internal state of your body of staying the same. Homeo is almost like homo. Remember when we talked about the prefix homo? What did the prefix homo mean? Same. So homeo is a different prefix that basically means same. Okay? Stasis means state. So homeostasis basically means the same state. Okay? In this case, the same internal state. So your body needs to be at homeostasis in order for all your processes inside your body to work at optimal levels. Okay? The endocrine system is there to make sure that that occurs. So it basically has all these different, what they call feedback mechanisms, in which these different glands secrete these hormones, and these hormones make sure that the interior of your body stays the same at all times. Okay? Now if you look, there's a whole bunch of organs. And truthfully, every single one is important for a different reason. Now, do you necessarily have to learn every single organ? No. You just have to understand that in the endocrine system, the organs are glands, a bunch of different glands, and those glands control the interior and the internal environment of your body, and it wants it to keep it the same. So looking specifically at what the organs do, these organs are just all the glands. Do you need to know them by name? No. You just need to know that they're glands. Okay? Those glands release hormones, and those hormones basically control several body processes in your body. Your brain sends signals to those areas, those glands, and those glands start producing the specific hormone in order to keep the inside of your body stable or the same. An example, digestion. Whenever you go eat, and I think we sort of talked about it yesterday, when you go eat, you increase the amount of blood sugar, right? Because you eat and everything has sugar in it, it has carbohydrates. So you're going to increase your blood sugar. Well, your body doesn't want too much blood sugar in your system. So as soon as your brain registers that, your pancreas starts secreting insulin. Insulin goes in and starts breaking down the sugars and decreasing the blood sugar level that you have. If that doesn't happen, you end up with things such as diabetes. Labor. When women are going labor, basically what happens is their body starts sending a hormone called oxytocin, specifically their ovaries start sending oxytocin. That oxytocin makes their uterus contract, meaning push on the baby because they want to push it out. Once your brain senses that, then it says, oh, we need some more because we need to push the baby out. So it starts to create a bunch of oxytocin in order for labor to continue and the contractions to start becoming more and more frequent, eventually pushing out the baby. Now once that happens, does the uterus want to continue to contract forever and ever and ever? No. So it starts sending a different hormone or stops sending oxytocin to stop the contractions. So your endocrine system is sending those hormones in order for things to occur. Keeping body temperature 98.6. That's your hypothalamus, which is actually in your brain. So this part right here, when your body starts getting too hot, what does your body start to do? Sweat. The reason it sweats is because that sweat, that liquid on your skin is going to evaporate. When it evaporates, it takes heat along with it. When your body starts getting too cold, what does your body start doing? Shivering. So the hypothalamus is sending hormones to make you sweat if you get too hot, or starts sending hormones to make you shiver to heat yourself up. Because when you shiver, your muscles are contracting and relaxing very fast. It creates friction. Friction creates heat. And then we already talked about maintaining blood sugar levels because it's truly part of the digestive system. So, Any questions on the endocrine system? Once again, you don't particularly have to know what each one does. You just have to understand that the glands in the endocrine system secrete hormones to control the different body processes to make sure that everything inside your body remains stable. Okay? Questions over it? Okay. Write your 1 or 2 key words for it. And major organs, in this case, please don't list the organs because you don't need to know them. You just need to understand that it's the glands. Alright, so looking at the reproductive system, basically the function of the reproductive system is it controls your secondary sex characteristics and obviously reproduction, the making of babies. Okay? Now, looking at organs, the organs we're going to talk about in the male are basically the testes, and the female, the ovaries and the uterus. Obviously, they're in the same person because it's just easier to do that than to run two people. Okay? Now, when we're looking at the reproductive system, you are looking at the fact of making babies, which everybody knows, but you also need to think about that these different parts are what causes secondary sex characteristics. Okay? A lot of hair in boys. Alright? Girls, breasts. Now, the reason that occurs is because of hormones. That's why these were also in the endocrine system. Hormones that are being secreted, and those hormones cause those things to grow. So, for example, guys have a hormone called testosterone, and that testosterone causes the secondary characteristics. The girl hormone is progesterone. Okay? That's what causes the breasts to grow, hips, things like that. Now, what people usually don't understand or don't know is that, like I said before, female have both male and female hormones. Males have both male and female hormones. The thing is that you have one in a lot lesser amount. Now, when you take things such as steroids, which is actually something that is much more prominent in males, it causes more muscles, right? That's why people will take steroids to increase their muscle mass. When you do that, have you ever seen women that have taken steroids that have very male-looking characteristics? And the reason for it is because steroids really is more of a male hormone, which causes them to lose their breasts, to become more masculine, have more facial hair. Now, in men, it causes them to have more male problems, such as acne and different things like that. So with these hormones, you have to have certain levels. You have too much or too little. Obviously, that's going to mess around with how you reproduce and so on. So looking at these specific organs, in the male, the testes is what basically produces the sperm. It makes the sperm. So the sperm is basically what's going to join an egg and make the baby. The female, the ovaries produce the egg, and the uterus, that's where the baby develops. The fetal, or the fetus, develops. So for the reproductive system, obviously if something goes wrong with this, then you end up not being able to reproduce, or you have other issues that stop puberty or change the way your body looks or it's supposed to look due to whatever sex you are. So any questions on the reproductive system? Okay. All right, so go ahead and write your 1 or 2 key words and your major organs. And these are the end of the notes.